This sword move was really very cleverly timed, as the miasma cloud beast had just defended against the combined attacks of Liu Dong and his companions, and its defense had weakened, creating an opportunity for Ling Han. Shua! The long sword waved, seemingly like a deity descended from the heavens. With a poo sound, the sword pierced through the right eye of the miasma cloud beast and deeper into its body, driving it all the way until the hilt. Peng! The miasma cloud beast fell heavily onto the ground. It was actually killed in one blow. What? Mother? See. Liu Dong and the others, including Zhu Shuiyi who had been in hiding, inhaled sharply in shock. That was an actual miasma cloud beast, one of the strongest amongst demonic beasts in body refining tier. And yet, it was killed in one blow. How could they accept something this unbelievable? But immediately, they took to their heels. If one spoke, they would naturally inhale air. They had all inhaled a bit of miasma poison just now. Thus, they had to circulate their respective cultivation techniques as soon as possible to dissolve the poison. Otherwise, their internal organs could very likely corrode. After a while, Liu Dong was the first to walk towards Ling Han, and patting his shoulder, he said, "I thought you brat were already scared to the point that you couldn't move, but you're actually so strong. Your one strike could actually be so swift." Haha, Brother Ling is truly powerful to actually kill the miasma cloud beast in one blow, Li Hao said. To be able to witness such a clean, decisive slash, he too felt immeasurably excited since he was a swordsman himself. Ling Han only smiled. The lower the cultivation level, the easier it would be for one with a lower cultivation level to challenge someone with a higher cultivation level. Moreover, the miasma cloud beast had had most of its attention focused on Liu Dong and the rest just now, which gave him the chance to kill it in one strike. If it was a one-on-one battle, Ling Han would definitely not be able to fight the miasma cloud beast on even grounds, unless he had taken the antidote to the miasma poison beforehand. After the miasma poison had dissipated, they plucked the green spiritual fruits one by one, but did not damage the plant itself. The plan they came up with just now was because they were short on time and so could only choose to uproot the plant. But now that the miasma cloud beast was dead, they naturally had no need to do such a thing. This, after all, was a natural spiritual medicine. Damaging it would equal damaging the harmony of nature. 7 green spiritual fruits. They each could obtain one. However, though Lu Yutong had put hers away, she would definitely hand it over to Ling Han later. Heng, leave the spiritual fruits behind. They heard a cold voice speak. 2 men walked over to them, one in front while the other remaining behind. One was young while the other was old. The younger one seemed to be about 20+ years old, while the older man appeared to be about 70 or 80 years old, with a head full of white hair. The speaker was the young man. He was walking in front while the old man followed him from behind like a servant. Ling Han glanced at the approaching pair. With the insight of a warrior in heaven tier, he could immediately tell that the young man was in the 9th layer of body refining tier, while the old man had already reached the 9th layer of element gathering tier. Who do you think you are to be so arrogant? Liu Dong immediately stood, yelling at the unknown young man. However, that young man's gaze swept over Zhu Shuiyi's dainty figure and beautiful face, revealing a covetous expression. Then, he disdainfully said, "You don't even know I Hang Zhan? Hey, then you should have heard of Stone Wolf Sect, right? I am the eldest grandson of the 7th elder of Stone Wolf Sect." Stone Wolf Sect. Hearing these 3 words, the expressions on the faces of Liu Dong and the others all changed into ones filled with dread. In Rain Country, one couldn't casually proclaim themselves a sect or a faction. Faction, sect, association, and society. From highest to lowest, these were the 4 different levels. Only a party that possessed a warrior of the spiritual ocean tier could claim to be a faction. One with a master in the gushing spring tier could be proclaimed a sect. A party that only had a warrior in element gathering tier could be claimed as association, while society would be those in the lowest category. The Stone Wolf Sect was the greatest party within 1,000 miles. According to rumors, the 9 great elders were all warriors in the gushing spring tier, while the sect master was an individual standing at the pinnacle of the 9th layer of gushing spring tier. If this Hangjan was telling the truth, and his grandfather really was the seventh elder of the Stone Wolf Gate, then he indeed had a terrifying background. Ha ha ha! Now do you know who I am? Leave the spiritual fruits and all of you break one of your arms, then you can get lost. However, these two girls must stay behind. Hangjan once again looked at Liu Yutong. Although he could not see her face, her graceful figure still caused his heart to throb. With his rich experience of encounters with women, this girl definitely had to be a beauty. Liu Dong and his fellows were extremely furious. They could leave behind the spiritual fruits, but to actually have each of them break one of their arms? Should a martial artist break his own arm, that would be the same as destroying his own future. Zhu Shuiyi shivered. She knew why he wanted her to stay behind, and this made her feel disgusted, furious, and fearful, all at the same time. 1. Do you still intend to resist me? Hangjan smiled coldly. Elder Yu, make them feel despair. Yes, young master, the white-haired old man behind him replied respectfully before slowly walking over to them. He originally had a bent figure, being the embodiment of a senile old man. Yet now his back straightened a bit with each step, and his aura kept increasing, quickly causing Liu Dong and the others to pale. 9th layer of Element Gathering Tier. In truth, Liu Dong and the others could not tell what Elder Yu's cultivation level was. They only knew that he was much, much stronger than them by a large margin. But no matter what layer of Element Gathering Tier he was at, to suppress a few youngsters in Body Refining Tier would be as easy as flipping his hand over. They were finished. Liu Dong and the others looked ashen. Although they were extremely unwilling, they could not help but admit that their backgrounds could not compare with the newcomers. As for comparing their own strength with their opponents, they were also unable to do so. You, take off your veil, Hangjan said, pointing at Liu Yutong. The more he stared at Liu Yutong's figure, the more the fire in his heart blazed, and the more he wanted to see her true face. Should Liu Yutong's true appearance not reach his expectations, he would definitely kill her in one strike for making him expect this much for nothing. Consequences? Hangjan naturally never thought about such a thing. The Stone Wolf sect was the king in this area. As long as they did nothing treasonous towards Rain Country, then so what if he killed a few people? Liu Yutong naturally would not even bother to respond. En, did you not hear me? Hangjan was a little upset. He was used to being arrogant and bossy. The thing that infuriated him the most was if someone dared to disobey his commands. Liu Yutong looked at Ling Han. After seeing the smile plastered all over Ling Han's face, she then slowly reached towards her veil and calmly took it off. In an instant, it was as if their whole surroundings lit up. How could there be such a beautiful girl in this world? What an outstanding beauty. How devastatingly beautiful. Though her demeanor was as cold as an iceberg, it caused one to have an even stronger desire to conquer her. To be able to have this beauty become a charming pet at his knee, what sense of accomplishment would that be? Liu Dong and the rest were amazed to the point of losing their breath first, but then immediately felt pity, for this kind of outstanding beauty was about to fall into the hands of Hangjan. Hangjan naturally was extremely surprised and joyous. He had never imagined that he would actually encounter such a beauty. His eyes were wide to the point that they seemed as if they were about to pop out. He laughed loudly and said, "Beauty, come here. Be careful, young master. She's in the Element Gathering Tier." Elder Yu suddenly spoke up, his wrinkled face filled with utmost seriousness. He could not tell this woman's actual power. It was possible to see the cultivation level of someone with lower cultivation than oneself, but this required both parties to be at a close enough distance. Just like Elder Yu, he was far beneath Liu Yutong in power, so he could only identify that Liu Yutong's cultivation level had already reached the Element Gathering Tier, but could not tell exactly what her cultivation level was. Liu Dong and his group, as well as Hangjan, all experienced a great shock, displaying expressions of complete disbelief. Lol, I thought they'd be going on about how they couldn't leave the girls behind as the bastard's meal, and they care about arms instead.